right, so we are here on a beautiful Pacific Northwest day. It's raining, and we are in the truck with Tyler Deshane from Tenet Components.
Heidi ho!
And pretty exciting. So you started producing your stems, and you've got a new pedal getting produced here in Bellingham.
Yeah, so we shifted production out of Taiwan to move the stem back to Bellingham. And then we're going to be introducing, as you will see, a new pedal that is made at the same machine shop, based off of the Occult, called the Omen, and it's in production right now. So I figured it'd be a good thing to take you guys through, show you guys what's up.
So why did you move production to the U.S.?
I mean, there's a myriad of reasons why producing products in Bellingham is great. One of them is just being able to be closer to your supplier. Being closer to the supplier allows us to be able to pop in as we are like today and just see how production's moving along and physically view pre-production samples, and make fine-tune adjustments and things like that, and work through either issues or whatever issue, anything that might pop up in development and production that, just faster timeline.
Sweet.
But aside from that, I mean, shorter lead times, easier, there's no language barrier. It's easier to communicate our ideas or issues, with them. And they also just, you'll see when we're there, some of the people that are there are also mountain bikers that participate in our community, and it's pretty sweet to see other machinists and whatnot get excited about producing the products. And I don't know, it makes us feel a little more connected to our community a little more. And it's more expensive, but to be honest, it's a cost that I personally think, and I think a lot of your customers, that are Fanatik, your Fanatik customers would agree on that. Producing stuff domestically, all the benefits kind of outweigh the negatives, and the negatives is really just the cost. The increase in cost kind of sucks a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that extra $30, $40 you're going to spend on a part to have it made here, I think is worth it, Yeah, and I mean, that's the other thing too, is lead times, to give you an idea, I won't name manufacturers, but lead times from a few of our manufacturers are 330 days. That is almost a year from when you write the PO and you submit it to them to when you would receive that product. Here with these guys, it's a fraction of that. Their elevated lead time is 120 days, which is like a standard lead time out of Taiwan. So, being able to produce stuff here in Bellingham shortens that dramatically. And then, like you said, you gotta wait for a container to get across the ocean, or if you air freight it, the cost of air freighting. So once you start taking all that into account, it's so much better.
Makes a lot of sense. When you are designing this stuff, how many times are you going back and forth with the machinist, fine-tuning in the design?
Well, it's kind of funny actually, because today you will get to see, we have some, some adjustments that we're going to make to future productions. And this is kind of something that I think, every company goes through, is you do a rendition and then you gotta, make some tweaks and try to make improvements. We're always trying to improve our products. And so, Luke and I have identified a few areas that we want to make better. And one of them is, a better sealing mechanism to keep water out and things like that. So, I'll sit down with Clayton, who does a lot of the toolpath design stuff, and talk through what that looks like and what the timeline and stuff looks like. But really, we'll get a first, Luther Beal, who's my business partner, he does all the engineering, and he'll create the first rendition. We'll send that over. They'll give us a prototype. We'll then assemble it, make sure everything assembles correctly, send it off to get testing for ISO, and then we work with EFB to do additional testing called the tri-test, gravity tri-test, which is just an elevated level of ISO. It's more real world testing. And then we'll take whatever feedback we get from that, make adjustments, and then from there, move into production. But I would say we've done, on this Omen, we've probably done 2 rounds of samples, and then moved it into production. And then during the lifespan of a product, we'll maybe revise it, 2 or 3 more times before, we're ready to release a new product, either phase one out and move something in. Because as we know, in mountain biking, everything gets bigger.
Yeah.
So our platform is going to be considered too small in maybe 2 years.
And then you guys have a lot of local athletes. I know, like Hannah Bergman, Miles Trainer. Have any of those guys seen the new pedals yet, or any of them riding them?
They are on them for sure.
Okay.
Hannah was the first person. She got a sample before I even got a sample to ride because, obviously she's putting those pedals through more abuse than I think I could ever introduce to a pedal, riding rampage lines and hitting huge canyon gaps and stuff. So it's like, I tend to feed product to the athletes before myself, and then, once we get enough samples that I can also run them, I'll run them myself as well. But athletes are a huge portion of the development process, as far as real world testing goes.
Sweet.
Yeah. Hello. We are now we've arrived at True Life, and I'm going to introduce you guys. This is Clayton Mortimer. Clayton does the toolpath designing. Is that correct? Is that proper terminology?
Programming, toolpath programming. Yeah.
Toolpath programming for all of Tenet's parts. So Clayton today is going to walk us through what it takes to produce a Tenet. I guess in this instance, Clayton's going to walk us through what it takes to produce the Omen pedal. So yeah, let's go check it out.
Sweet.
Start at the raw materials.
Yeah, so the raw materials right behind you guys there. He's cutting 2 bars at a time on this bandsaw. So we get 4 parts out of each one of these.
Damn. Okay.
And then, where do you guys source the aluminum from?
This material, it's domestic, and we have a few different suppliers. I couldn't tell you offhand exactly where it comes from, but
Sweet. So it just comes in like these big bars, and then you just chop it up.
They're 12-foot bars.
Okay. Sick.
And we save all the little remnants, and we'll cut them into the right size chunks so that we can assemble them together into the fixture.
Yeah.
And we try to use up all the pieces, So he loads that material right into here. Just clamped with these 5 jaws. And then when it comes out, it looks like this. And then he gets to load this whole thing into station. It's nice to not have to load individual components and trying to hold them all and not drop them all at the same time.
And for the viewers, this is the new Tenet Omen pedal. This is one pedal, so.
Yeah. New technology, new standard in mountain bike pedals. Yeah. Ultra long. Oh, that's crazy.
And this is Scott. This is a guy that's done a really awesome job of running these pedals. So he does a little bit of deburr to the pedals just to get some of the hanging burrs off from the side pockets and things. And he does all the inspection for the high tolerance bores and the positions of the bores. Maybe we could show you on one of the inspection equipment how he measures that stuff if you want to see that.
Yeah.
And all of the inspection data is recorded in our system here, so we get to monitor. You can see when Scott notices something's getting a little bit on the edge of tolerance, he's going to adjust the machine and get it back into the green zone.
Sweet.
Nice. What stage are you guys in right now on that one?
Oh, what's in the machine at the moment? So can't see anything through the door, but I can usually tell what's going on right here. It's doing the side holes.
Cool.
So if I put this thing in handle mode, I can stop the spindle and turn the coolant off and open the door. But yeah, that thing was right in the middle of cutting those bores in there.
Whoa.
So that's like one of the last things that happens before he unloads the part out of the fixtures.
So then that same piece that's right there, you're gonna cut 2 more into it, like above and below?
Yeah, there's 2 pedals on this side, and then there's 2 more pedals on the opposite side of that tombstone.
Okay.
So we make 4 parts at a time. For every full cycle, he unloads 4 complete parts.
Sick.
So the first operation is what you're looking at on the other tombstone, and then this is the second operation, and this is what we call the third operation.
Okay. So that gets split into 2 pieces, and then they get...
Yeah, when he unloads it out of here, the pedals are now free from each other, and then he individually loads them to those stations.
Cool. That is wild.
Yeah, the accuracy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's the key to having like custom fixturing like that, is like it just allows you to make everything super consistent.
Yeah.
Like everything over and over and over again.
And you were saying those were like just right side pedals? So you do like right sides and then left sides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a separate program, separate work orders. We keep them very separate.
Yeah.
It's too easy to get them mixed up for us.
Yeah, our pedals, the only thing you can really tell the difference about is which end has the threaded end, which would be considered the outer edge of the pedal, but the pins are all different. They're symmetrical in both directions, but the only thing that really identifies the difference between one left or right is the orientation of where the pins are drilled.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if this thing does a pallet change here at some point, I could show you we have anti-misload features built into the fixtures. So Scott will put this screw in an engraved location that says L or R, and that screw head interfaces with one of the counterbores in the pedal, so you can't load it the wrong way or anything.
Okay.
And we have that in place for the second operation and the third operation.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's great. This machine, so far as I can tell, this is the same machine that ran the stems too, right?
It's the same make and model, but the other one is right over there.
Yeah, okay.
Over there.
So we have 3 of these machines, and we just got a brand new one, that shiny guy over there.
Yeah, huge.
Sweet. All right, so we checked out the machine shop where Tenet is now producing pedals and stems, and now we are here at Tenet's headquarters in downtown Bellingham, and we're gonna pop in here and see what happens with the pedals after they come back from the machine shop. So let's see what Tyler's up to in here. Tyler, my man.
What's up,
We're
Rich?
here interrupting your workday to see
How you
what
guys
happens
doing?
with these pedals after they leave the machine shop.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, stoked. You've built out this shipping container. Pretty sick.
This is my little office space. Yeah, this is just Tenet, pretty much here. All right, come on in. I'll show you guys what happens once we get the pedals back from the machine shop. So this is the warehouse side of the container. Pretty much as we left off at the machine shop, they get sent off to anodizer in Idaho, and then from there they'll get anodized, lasered, sent back to us, and they come back in a box just like this, and we get a whole bunch of freshly finished Omen platform pedals. So and then from here we'll have a little station here set up where I do most of my assembly. So I'll gotta walk you guys through that real quick. First things first, very liberal amount of grease. Everything moving nice and smooth. Then we'll take a bushing, and this is pretty archaic, but I just slip it right on there. Press your bushing in. And then we move on to the sealed bearings. So each pedal gets 3 freshly sealed bearings. Slip them onto the bearing press here. And just slip the pedal up over that, get it kind of lined up. Push it till it bottoms out. Bearings are pressed in there. And then this is a right hand platform. And the way I know that is there is the little horns icon here. And if you were to make the symbol with your hand, it matches up with the symbol on the pedal. It's a little pro tip for you Occult or Omen pedal owners. If you ever are wondering which pedal goes on what side, look for that little guy. And then take your spindle, right hand spindle, seal. Plenty more grease again. And then we just slip the spindle in. Give it a nice little bounce there real quick. And then you got the end nut, I already had one in there. Tighten that on. Throw your 6mm in. You don't need to make it super tight, but you want to snug it up. Just like that. Give it a nice spin, it feels nice and smooth, so we know everything is assembled correctly. End cap goes on. And you got a finished pedal. Right hand side goes on the right side of the table. Rinse, repeat. For hundreds of pedals.
So that's pretty sweet. You are hand assembling all of these spindles on all of the Omen pedals here in-house, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You are still going to be offering the Occult pedal, though.
Correct.
Those are the ones that are made in Taiwan.
Yeah, and I can give you a little rundown as to the differences. So the Occult is produced in Taiwan. It's made from an extruded bar of aluminum and then post-CNC machined. When we actually originally went out to make the Occult, I really wanted a really refined finish, but the process of extruding aluminum, it doesn't lend well to nice finish, like a finished product. Typically what they do is the bar comes out and it has some marring a little bit, and then they go through and they, you know, bead blast it and whatnot, so you don't get that really nice finish. Where with a fully CNC'd platform like this, I mean, there's beautiful tool marking.
Yeah.
You know, it's machined from a solid block of aluminum, and every contour is cut with a specific tool for a CNC machine. So overall, it's just a much nicer, much more refined product that has a ton of attention to detail. So
super stoked on that. I know that I'm running the Occult pedal myself and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But then you look at these new Omens and I'm like, okay, great. I got to buy another set of pedals.
yeah, these are a little bit burlier too because of the fact that we're machining them. A lot of the pockets that you would find in the Occults that are, you know, created through the extrusion process, you can't do those pockets as easily, and so we opted to just leave these, you know, inner pieces of the Omen solid, so it's a lot stiffer, burlier, like platform.
Sweet.
Yeah, will lend to some, you know, enduro and free ride riding. So
sweet. And then it's kind of the same deal with the stem. I have the old stem, but you look at it and it's just like you can see like finer details in the machining on the new one. And of course, I'm gonna have to pick up another stem.
I mean, products made in Taiwan are great. There's nothing wrong with producing products in Taiwan, and we'll continue to work with manufacturers over there. When a project or a product needs to fit a specific price point, but I don't know, man, there's something about being able to produce something locally, driving to the machine shop, as we just did. You can be on the floor, you can see products being produced. You know, 15 minutes from now, we could be right there and seeing it all being made. And
like you said, super cool. Like a bunch of the dudes in the machine shop are all bikers themselves. Like,
and it's awesome, especially when you go in there and all the other guys that are working the machine shop floor are also stoked on producing products. You're just like, this. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's sweet. And I'm like really stoked on the anno colors, like that black. Obviously, everybody loves black pedal. You've got the umber, which is kind of like a coppery, and then that silver. Like the new finish it's pretty sweet. Let's maybe check out what comes in the box with the new Omen pedal.
Sure. So after we get all of them, I'll fill this table up with both left and right, and then we'll package them. So I'll grab a set here. Once we box them up, typically we assemble or we include thread through pin and then also grub screws, so you can kind of pick your poison there. These will have a little more float in your feet if you're more of a dirt jumper or a free rider and you want to take your feet off, or you're doing a moto whip or tabletop or something. That'll give you a little more adjustability in your feet, or easily adjustable, adjust your feet. And then the thread through pins come fairly long, and if you were wanting to adjust your grip a little bit, if they're too grippy for you, we also include these washers, and you can toss the washer onto the pin and then thread it in, and it'll shorten the pin up by 1.5 millimeters. So you can kind of mix and match. I mean, there are people who run grub screw on one side of the pedal, grub screws on one and then thread throughs on the other, and switch it up in the ride. Like,
kind of up to you.
Yeah, you're riding some chunky gnar and you need that grip, you can run your thread through side, and then, oh, we're at cedar dust now. Let's hit some jumps, and I want to do some moto whips or tail whips.
Yeah.
Or not tail whips, but
yeah, I can totally do
moto whips
those.
or tabletops.
Yep.
And then last that's in the box, we have a 8mm socket. I know you guys at the shop have had issues with getting into some pedals that have a really small diameter where that nut is.
Yeah.
And we kind of sort of noticed that right out of the beginning and decided to just include the socket.
Yeah.
It's a cheap thing to add into the box, and you can service the pedals at your house.
That's super sweet, because I know like standard 8mm socket is usually a little too big, but this specialized one works super awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as what's coming down the pipe, we are doing a Deep Purple launch party. Obviously, Deep Purple, it's a color.
It's a great band.
Yeah, it's a great band. It's a Hannah Bergman special edition color that'll be coming out in early March.
Sweet.
And so we're gonna have an event actually here, live bands. If you guys are watching this before March 4th, 2022, you should come by.
Yeah.
So I know you guys will be here.
Yep. I've already got tickets. I plan on being here. But super stoked to see pedals getting produced locally.
Yeah.
Not just in the US, but here in Bellingham. That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So
and our hope is to continue to just as we develop products, keep moving them, trying to shift as much production here. We have shorter lead times. We can get more product into shops, like with you guys, and into customers' hands, and make rapid adjustments or improvements to our products a lot faster, and develop products a lot faster. So overall, I mean, there's a really good, there's a lot of reasons to make products in locally, and hopefully one day we'll have a machine shop right here on site.
That'd be pretty insane.
Yeah, it's a dream.
I know, you dropped boxes off the other day. I think we've got these pedals up on the website now. So if you need a new set of pedals, definitely worth checking out. If you want a little cheaper option, we've got the Occult or the brand new US made Omen pedal, which I'm pretty stoked on. Yeah. So
well, thanks for coming by, guys.
Freaking stoked to see you doing everything here in-house. The humble abode. This is Tenet Worldwide. If you've got any questions, give us a call at 844-326-2845. Email us at sales@fanaticbike.com. Leave us a comment if you got any questions there, and we'll see you next time.